guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a worth the buy or not foundation review on the very new Benefit Cosmetics Hello Happy Soft Blur Foundation. So it's supposed to be a light to medium coverage liquid foundation with 15 SPF, which I think is pretty good. I feel like right now during this time of the year is when we like to wear more of that like very lightweight consistency. I know at least for me when it's like 90 degrees, I know I'm not gonna wanna be outside wearing a thick, heavy foundation. So I'm excited to see how this is going to perform. I'm gonna put on some lip balm. First things first, because you guys know lip balm is like the best ever. So I'm just going to moisturize. My lips need it. And I already went ahead and applied my first Solly oil. This is the Rose Gold Elixir. I applied this just on my cheeks because you guys know my cheek condition. I'm gonna go ahead and actually take, where is it? My Fenty Beauty primer. And I'm also gonna be taking my Tatcha the Silk Canvas. I'm gonna be using both of them. I'm gonna be using my Fenty Beauty primer around my cheek area, just because that's like the area where it's still going through like some dry patches, so I don't want to use anything too intense. And now we're going to be taking the Tatcha Silk Canvas, and we're just going to be taking a little bit of this. I like to really place it in the areas where I tend to get oily, so like my T-zone, just because it does a good job also making sure that my skin looks perfected, but also looking oil-free, which is very, very helpful. I feel like prepping the skin is like one of the most important parts. So whenever I can really prep my skin, I'm just like, yes, I'm here for it. So now we're gonna be taking the Hello Happy foundation. This does have 1 ounce of product, so it's standard size foundation. Even though to me, it looks really small, but I mean, it's standard size, so it's still good. And I like the back, like this little smiley face. I think that's so cute. And then I got the shade number 7. So I think we just have to shake it. We're gonna be using the beauty sponge, and we are going to be using a foundation brush. We're gonna be using the Tarte Kabuki brush just because my Delium Tools one is still drying. I actually just washed a bunch of brushes today and it's still wet, so I don't wanna go ahead and mess with that. So let's go ahead and bring you guys closer. Now you guys can see how my skin looks and how it looks before foundation. And now we're gonna go ahead and apply it. So let's go the back of our hand. I think shade 7 will be good. So this is what it looks like. You can see it is a runny foundation. It actually feels good. Like even though it's like runnier, it feels like it's gonna be good on the skin. So let's go ahead and take our beauty sponge. Definitely a light coverage, but it's not clinging onto my dry patches, which is good. I think it's because of the fact that it is a little bit runny, so it's more lightweight. It's supposed to be a blurring foundation, so it blurs out any imperfections you may have. And it's supposed to give you kind of like a more soft matte finish. Okay. So we are definitely gonna take a little bit more product. And we're gonna go up on our forehead where it's kind of more evened out skin, and down here, just to kind of see how it performs. So it looks really nice on the forehead. It like looks really nice and even. As you can see, very perfected. I'm also gonna go down here. Take some on this side of my nose. I actually like how it feels. It honestly doesn't feel like I have anything on. Does it completely cover my redness? No, but I do have to say that wherever my skin does look really nice and evened out, like my forehead, down here, my nose, the foundation looks really nice on, and it just feels so lightweight. So if you have pretty evened out skin, with 1 layer, you'll be fine. But because I have the rosacea, I kind of have to build a little bit on the cheek area for it to really get rid of that redness. But I like the fact that because my cheeks are dry, the product isn't clinging onto it. Like with some foundations, as soon as I lay down the foundation, it starts clinging on and just looking really rough. But with this, it's not doing that. I know a lot of people were talking about the shade range and how it wasn't very diverse. I do feel like with this one, what I did notice was even though they didn't have that many shades, they did make sure they had like a good, I think they had like 3 or 4 shades for each range. So like for fair skin, they had 3 or 4. And then for medium skin, they had like 3 or 4. And then for my darker skin ladies, they had 3 or 4. They did say that it's supposed to be a little bit more universal. So like more people can use it. Like it kind of adjusts to your skin complexion. So I think that is helpful. But I did like the fact that for their campaign, they actually used models and they didn't just like swatch it like those like computerized swatches, which is so hard for you to like figure out your shade. I like the fact that they actually used actual models. That's how I was able to tell which one worked for me. Also seeing influencer swatches also kind of helped me. So this is the foundation on with the sponge. It actually went on pretty well. Definitely have to build with the foundation when you have like issues on your skin, whether it's scarring, redness, or like things that you want to cover up. You definitely want to build it up a little bit more. But everywhere else, it went on so nice and smooth. It worked well with the beauty sponge, but for some reason, I feel like it's going to work better with the brush. To cover up my redness, I did use 2 layers and it definitely covered a good amount. Is there still a little bit of redness peeking through? Yes, just a touch, but it's nothing too serious that we will be like, oh my God, this is like not working out. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the side with the brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take some more product. Yeah, but back to the whole color range. I see people's frustration though, because it is still limited compared to a lot of companies that really like have launched like 40 shades, like for example, CoverGirl. I do understand that, but I feel like sometimes for, you know, brands that don't focus so much on complexion, they start off with less shades and then they eventually grow more depending on how their product does. So maybe that's what Benefit Cosmetics is doing. Now, I'm not saying it's an excuse for them not to do it, but that's just what I'm seeing it from like a standpoint of having a business. I may be wrong, but that's just what I'm assuming. Okay, and I'm using the Tarte Kabuki brush. This is like the airbrush brush. It actually, I haven't used this brush in a long time, but it actually feels really nice. So it's definitely covering a lot faster with the brush and a lot more. You can see it's covering more efficiently. There's only a little bit of redness right up here in this area where I definitely will be covering it up, but you can see the large difference as opposed to using a sponge. I feel like with the sponge, when you're using a foundation that's so lightweight, it kind of tends to absorb a little bit more of that product, which is why it doesn't give you as full coverage as something like using a brush would. I don't know why, but that's just the experiences that I've had using it. And I honestly think this shade matches me really well. It's been one of my better matches that I've had compared to some other brands that I feel like sometimes they don't get the color perfectly right, but this is a pretty good match for me. I was so close to going with 6, shade number 6, but then like, you know what? I'm gonna go with 7 because it's the summer. This summer I'm all about going to that slightly darker shade just because you just never know. I just have to say, it also blends out really easy and it just feels, honestly, like you have nothing on your skin. Yeah, it feels really good. And then there's only one part right here where it definitely could use a little bit more coverage. So I will be taking just a little tiny bit more product. But you can see it covered with less foundation, more with the brush. So I would say that if you're somebody that you need kind of like a little bit more coverage, but you still want something lightweight, I would say use your brush, because the brush will definitely give you that more fuller coverage quicker than a sponge will. But if you're somebody that has pretty evened out complexion and you're just looking for a new everyday foundation that's not like so intense and you just want it to look really natural on the skin and like your own skin, then I think using a sponge will be just fine. It does look like skin. I'm looking at it up close now. It looks like skin. It doesn't look cakey or anything. I do have some dryness and I see that there's like some little areas where you can definitely see a little bit of the dryness, but I think that happens with everybody, with almost every foundation. When you do have dryness, you can see a little bit of those dry patches, but everywhere else, it looks really good. On my areas where my skin is like normal right now, It does not look like I have anything on. If anything, it looks like a very subtle tinted moisturizer, but it's not clinging onto my T-zone. It looks very fresh faced and it feels really nice. It doesn't feel like you have a full beat face of foundation. Do you know what I mean? So, but when you look at it, it does definitely look like you're evened out and you look fantastic. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup, and then I'm going to come back and give you guys my first initial thoughts after wearing the foundation for a good 45 minutes, just to see how it works with my products, which is always a big part of doing this wear test, is seeing how it works with the rest of the products. And then we can go ahead and start our day and see if the new Hello Happy Benefit Cosmetics foundation is worth the buy or not. So stay tuned. Okay, so I am back. I finished my entire face of makeup, and I actually have to say I am really impressed with how the foundation held up with all my products. My blush blended in perfectly. It didn't break apart or anything. Highlighter went on very smooth, and then I used my Infallible Pro Glow concealer by L'Oreal, and it also went on extremely well. No breakage, no nothing. The foundation set really nicely. I was expecting it to kind of be like that normal coverage, but it actually has like almost like this soft matte finish. I actually am very excited to see how it's going to wear today, because it just looks really fresh on the skin. It looks like my skin, but like a perfected version of my skin. I'm gonna wear this for the entire day and see how it goes. I will give you guys an update on how it's wearing, because I definitely want to, you know, show you guys some like natural lighting update. And then we're gonna go ahead and come back at the very end of the day and decide what the final outcome is of this Benefit foundation. Okay, so it is now 7:50 p.m. at night. So we've been wearing this foundation for a good amount of time, and I like actually just woke up from a nap. I always get these like little afternoon naps in, but I feel like it looks really good. I'm gonna look at the viewfinder real quick for a second. So if I'm not looking straight into you guys, it's because I'm looking up here. I have to say, I'm actually impressed. I feel like it's holding up really well, and it looks nice and fresh on the skin. I feel like it matches my neck perfectly, which is a good thing. I feel like it's always kind of hard to tell when you have like all the lights and all the like studio lights and everything, because it can kind of make it look a little bit closer to your color. But I feel like once you're like standing in front of a window with natural lighting, you can really see. But I feel like the color 7 is perfect. I also took my dog out for a walk. I want to say like around 3 or 4 p.m. and I was like, oh shit, I forgot to put sunscreen, because my skin is really sensitive to the sun because of my rosacea. But then I remembered that the foundation had 15 SPF, so I was like, perfect. I'm still being covered and it's still gonna be great. So I was happy about that, but I have to say that I like how it looks. I really am impressed, and I feel like Benefit might have done the damn thing. And I'm hoping that it'll still look this good. It doesn't really look really oily. It looks like nice, fresh on the skin, not overly dewy, which is something that we clearly don't want, especially on a hot summer day. And while I was outside, I was thinking, I was like, I'm probably gonna get really sweaty and really oily, but I'm still looking fine. So it's really good. Okay, so I am back. It is now 10:30 p.m. at night. So you guys saw my reactions through the day, and I do have to say that I'm actually extremely impressed with this new Benefit Cosmetics foundation. I'm really impressed with the formula and how it's looking on the skin. Even though it's been a long day, it looks so nice on the skin, like so incredibly nice. Like I'm really shocked. And right in the T-zone, like especially right in this area, it looks a little dewy right there, but it's like bearable. It's like a like very subtle, like pretty dew. It's nothing too intense where I'm like, ugh, this is yucky. So I actually am really impressed. The cheeks and everything else, the nose too, it looks pretty good, like pretty intact. So I have to say that I was really shocked. Like I honestly really thought this was gonna be a fail for me. When I saw that it was like a little bit more on the runny side, liquidy, light to medium coverage, I was like, I don't know, because I like my fuller coverage products. I can deal with this, especially during the summertime, because like I mentioned, summertime's a time where you really want to wear something that's super lightweight, airy, and doesn't feel like you have much on. I feel like it's so helpful. Also, having that added sunscreen is always good. 15, it isn't that much, but it's better than having nothing. You know what I mean? I know sometimes we tend to forget to put on our sunscreen, so I think it's really good that it does have that added factor. But I do have to say that if you're somebody that is looking for a really full coverage finish. I wouldn't recommend you purchasing this because you're gonna find yourself building up the coverage. Now the price of this is $29, which I think is a really good price considering that Benefit Cosmetics is a high-end brand. A lot of high-end brands at Sephora and Ulta range for like $35 to $45, even $50. So the fact that you're paying $29 for this, I think that's pretty nice. I would say that the biggest downfall of this foundation is the fact that there's not that many colors. And I totally get everybody's frustration. I did touch on this earlier in my video, but I think one of the main elements is perhaps that because they are more so a brow brand, they didn't want to launch like a huge range. But I totally see where people are like, who cares? Still launch it. You know, you got to be inclusive. I totally get it. And I think that for me would be the biggest downfall of the product is that there's not more shades. I would love to see them expand it because I think this product does have potential. And I think especially for people that like a very natural wear foundation or like something that's going to be great and easy to wear for the summer, I think this is going to be your go-to. So I'm definitely going to continue wearing this. I feel like everything from the shade to the way it feels to the way it looks is right on point with me. So I'm going to have to say that this Hello Happy foundation by Benefit is definitely worth the buy for me. But I'm about to take this all off because it's time to go to bed. Tomorrow's a big day. Mexico's playing in the World Cup. First game against Germany. And if you guys are Mexican, you know how important this is and how freaked out we are because Germany just won the last World Cup. So we're probably like... So I'll be seeing you guys later. Please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed my foundation reviews. If you guys want to see any other foundation reviews, please let me know what you want to see down below because I would love to know your thoughts. And also, if you guys are new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. I would love for you to become a member of family here on YouTube. So I'll be seeing you guys very soon for a brand new video. Bye guys!